We are fighting a war of attrition, in that we kill in self-defense, as long as they are going to come and fight with us.
Major Khaled is a commander of the Mukti Forge. The freedom fighters have been fighting the West Pakistan Army for the past 3 months. World in Action went into Bangladesh or East Pakistan to find out how effective they are. The Mukti Forge claimed to have divided East Pakistan into 5 sectors for guerrilla operations, with each sector commanded by Bengali majors of the Pakistan Army who defected after the March massacres. Major Khaled's sector covers the areas around Nerkali, Kamila and part of Sylhet. World in Action producer Vanya Cooley spent 8 days there.
But here, the only fear is, suppose they come at least 2,000 yards height and they drop somebody here. But if they drop, now I'm having one NG. This engine will take.
Let them drop. They will get lost.
Yeah.
The Pakistan government dismissed the guerrillas as a bunch of miscreants and the war as a border skirmish. I was surprised to find a highly organized resistance led by officers with impressive military records. Here Major Khaled briefed Subsector Commander Captain Salek Chaudhry, who before he defected was a staff captain at headquarters Dhaka.
Then
Khaled asked us not to film the map nor mention the exact location of the villages and camps we went to, not only for their own security, but to protect the villagers from the reprisals by the Pakistan Army. His caution was understandable in view of the overwhelming quantity and sophistication of the Pakistan Army's arsenal. On a preparatory visit to meet Major Khaled before the monsoon really got going, I ran into a major assault. The Pakistan Army were using sabre jets, tanks, helicopters and heavy artillery against the guerrillas. Once the rain stops in September, the guerrillas' light guns and mortars could be overcome by the superior weapons of the Pakistan Army. But Major Khaled remains confident. Major Khaled is 35, an officer with the Pakistan Army for 13 years, trained as a commander by the Americans. 8 months ago, he was with the Black Watch in Scotland. When he defected from the Pakistan Army in March, he brought most of his brigade, their Chinese weapons, and even their teacups with him.
And you have heard yourself yesterday the shelling, the rocketing by the artillery and the aircraft, and then the other day when you went to Feni. This is not border skirmishes. Border skirmishes means all small arm fire. But here a full-scale war is being conducted by the Pak Army. We intend to make the whole nation the fighting force. And the hardcore being provided by the regular troops, that is the Bengal Tigers. It has its good reputation of being good fighters, and it has fought well.
The hardcore of the Liberation Army are professional soldiers, but thousands of students and peasants are joining them. There is little time for formal training, so they're sent to the front unarmed and untrained with the regular troops to get experience. And if they're lucky, a gun captured from the Pakistan Army. Ishaq, a 19-year-old student, took us with his patrol to inspect several villages. He's said to have killed 56 men.
There was shelling yesterday, and one mortar shell landed here, 3-inch mortar, and killed a cow, And on that side of the village also, a few civilians were injured by fire from small arms. You see, shelling continues here almost all the time. And you've been very lucky enough not to have any shelling right now. ठीक है सर, ठीक है सर।
The guerrillas' lack of arms and ammunition was compensated by their passion for an independent Bangladesh, and their hatred of the West Pakistanis is constantly renewed by the stories that the refugees tell them.
I wish I could take you inside. All the cantonments in Bangladesh are nothing but concentration camps. These hundreds and thousands of girls are kept there as prisoners. They are tortured, they are raped, they are dishonored, and after that they are killing them. You see, all the dead bodies are floating in the rivers.
But this was surely several months ago, not now.
It is going on still now.
Two of my sons I lost there, and my houses has been looted, and my other articles also looted. Everything lost there. Then I found that my life also insecure.
But did your son do anything to the military?
Nothing. Did nothing.
Then why did they shoot them?
Their habit is this. Their habit is this. They are murdering. Also, they are murdering. All along they are murdering.
For how long?
Not only my two sons. Many people shooted.
Saw his father, mother, and everybody of the family killed by the Punjabis. And of course his sister, who was about to get married, was kidnapped by the Punjabis and has been taken away. And he had the story from the other villagers that she has been thoroughly tortured and dragged out of that place brutally and has been taken away. And he was left with no alternative. And now he says, I have nothing to lose in this world. And he decided to join Mukti Fauj. And he wanted to take the revenge, you see, by killing as many Punjabis and West Pakistanis as possible.
Pakistan government said that there is no trouble inside Pakistan.
No, false. They are false. They are telling everything false. They are lying. They are telling all lies.
Maria is the initiator of all this. He is the greatest culprit that human civilization can imagine. He is just in the same rank with Hitler and his companions, Eichmann and others.
My life, God knows how I shall pass my life. Now I am watering it and digger. Sometimes living here, sometimes living there. This way I am passing my time. Sometimes in the temple, sometimes in the road, sometimes under a tree. In this way I am passing my time.
জলে ভাসি আমার ও আমার জন্মভূমি জননী গো তোমার দুঃখে কাঁদে আমার প্রাণ।
We are not violent in nature. You see, the Bengali has got a very rich culture. Their history and their traditions and their literature. It's the flow of the river without obstruction. It's going, and there is nothing, killing each other or crime or things like that. It's very rare. But only when the unarmed people are attacked by the butcher, and killing and raping and arsoning and burning and rocketing, and therefore they didn't have any other option but to fight it back. You just take a cat when it cornered, it fights, though it is a very peace-loving animal. Things like that. It had happened with us. We didn't want to fight. We were forced. We are completely pushed to the place where we have to fight, and we will fight. There is no question of it. And people are ready for any sacrifice, and they will die. 1 million have died already. And I think if this thing continues, 5 million will die in war, and about 10 to 15 million will die of starvation. They are living in the panics because the Pak army is still continuing their genocide, and the places where we are there, our people are operating, they're comparatively safe. But again, the type of operation we normally conduct, But we have got to sit the bases from one place to another place. We have got the men, we don't have that many weapons to protect all the areas. Therefore, we have got to shift when the pressure builds up in certain areas. Therefore, we have got to leave the people at the mercy of the Pak army.
The guerrillas admit that some peasants collaborate with the Pakistan army, and I got the impression that they dealt with briskly when they discovered. But there is no doubt that most of the people I saw were united with the guerrillas. Despite the punishment the Pakistan army inflicts when it finds out, the villagers still continue to supply the Mufti Forge with food, shelter, and information. We came across the charred remnants of a village. Like most people in Bangladesh, the people who lived here had voted solidly for the Awami League last December. The Awami League wanted East Pakistan to be free from the domination by West Pakistan 1,500 miles away. 98 East Pakistanis out of every 100 voted for them in a democratic election, but the West rulers refused the League's demands and decided to impose its power by force.
What he says is they had first of all voted for Awami League, and that was one of their faults, and later on they had been feeding us the Mufti Forge, and that was their fault, and when they got them unarmed, and no Mufti Forge was around, so the Pak army came in and just burnt off the village and killed a few of them. These people were unarmed and couldn't put up any resistance. Pak army just came and slaughtered them and raped the women, burned the houses, and then many villages sideway, just like this village.
Another village, for the moment protected by the Mufti Forge. The village's population has doubled with the arrival of refugees. Some of them were found in the bush by the Mufti Forge and brought to the village, like this girl. She's 16, a widow with a 1-year-old son. She says that the Pakistani soldiers came to her hut, dragged out her husband and killed him in front of her. She tried to throw herself onto their bayonets. Suicide is preferable to dishonor to a Bengali woman, but failed. At bayonet point, the soldiers raped her.
There is no one in this world to look after me and my child. What can I do now? Where can I go? I go from door to door, begging people to give me something. I touch people's feet. If anyone is kind enough to give me something to eat, then I eat.
The soldier noticed my father was still breathing slightly. Then two of them jumped into the water and hit him in the ribs, chest and forehead. I was watching. I did not shout in case they come and kill me. After that, they took away all our rice and clothes and put them in their motorboat. My father's body was taken away and buried.
The safety of the refugees and the peace of the village was in jeopardy as we left. Throughout the journey, we were rarely out of earshot of the Pakistan shelling. But now it was getting nearer, and as we left, a group of Mufti